Commissioners. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the December 10, 2020 Cumberland County Commissioners Virtual Workshop Meeting. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Saying, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I call this meeting to order at 9:03 a.m. and at this time I open up the floor to public comment. Hearing none and seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item number 3, and I'll call on Rebecca Urich to discuss the loan request to lease equipment for a second Issei Noodle location. Rebecca?
Good morning. Can you hear me? I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, very well. Good morning, everyone. Andre Pham is a familiar face. He's the older, but that same very welcoming young man you remember from his parents' restaurant in downtown Carlisle, Issei Noodle. He worked there for years, as did his now wife, Donna. They join us via Zoom, Donna and Andre Pham. In 2014, they opened their own Issei Noodle at 44 North Queen Street in downtown Lancaster. Eat in, take out, have delivered, or use the walk-up window. The family will open a second location, a second Issei Noodle of their own, at 36 Erford Road in East Pennsboro Township, in what was a Pizza Hut that has a drive-thru. They'll offer lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday, offering up a menu very similar to Lancaster and Carlisle, blended Vietnamese and Japanese menu. Many of them noodle-based, of course. They're growing their menu as they deliberate whether or not they're going to offer their own product line in their eateries, and that's expected to happen in 2021. What they don't offer at this location is indoor dining. Many downtowns and commercial areas, as you know, are dependent on office workers, and that has had the COVID impact has affected that walk-in traffic, of course, and that drive-by traffic, with many workers working from home. That's not the case with this location, which is in the midst of a booming medical and other professional services population in this part of Camp Hill. While the fans continue to monitor the impacts of COVID-19 and have implemented rigorous safety protocols at their location, this business model speaks to different, changing consumer patterns. Delivered sales, for example, the first half of 2020 at their Lancaster location were up by more than 30% and continue to climb. The Phams appreciate the value of saving time, having prepared foods, and providing meals on the go for busy patrons. Many prefer casual dining. We've seen that trend for several years now. And today, in today's world, that can often mean eating home. Development in this area is booming, traffic is bustling, there's no slowdown in these parts, and a new hotel and other amenities have just recently opened in what has become a town center in East Pennsboro. This $50,000 CDBG loan request is to purchase equipment such as ovens, stoves, freezers, pasta cookers, pots and pans, and some systems. Tenant Issei Noodle will put another $62,000 into the project, which brings their value of the project, their investment, 55% of the total project cost. This loan has a 2% interest rate. It's amortized over 25 years with a balloon at 7. The CDBG shop steady loan will be secured by a second lien position, a mortgage they have with Penny Mac on a residential rental real estate they own in Lancaster City, as well as the liens on the equipment and their personal guarantees. As a condition of the loan, 2 full-time or part-time equivalent positions will be created at this location within 2 years of the loan settlement, and they expect to open with 6 employees. 2020 has been a very challenging year for all of us, particularly small business, but here's a business that, like many others, has reimagined and retooled their operations with great success. Here, we have a solid and sustainable business. Issei plans to open in early 2021 and follows a growing trend trend of business expansions amidst the pandemic right here in Cumberland County. Easy has been tested and succeeded with Lancaster sales for 2019 nearing $1 million. It's not a chain or a franchise. It's proven, it's better, and it's local. We welcome any questions you may have.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for Rebecca or the fans?
I have a comment and a question. So I'm very excited for this location. I frequent the East St. Noodle here in Carlisle. I think this will be a great addition to Camp Hill. But I do have a question about the job creation, Rebecca.
Yes.
As a condition, it says that the employment will be offered to persons from households not exceeding 80% of the area median income. Is that written into the loan?
It is. And that, of course, varies from time to time. And it also varies upon the number of people in that household. Those jobs, too, it's important to note, can go to anyone other than the borrowers. So Donna and Andre would both be on the loan, named on the loan, and it could be anyone. It's not, those two jobs are not going to include Donna and Andre.
Okay, thanks,
There will
thank
be
you.
other new jobs.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I understood that was written into the loan. Thank you, Rebecca.
Yes, you're quite welcome.
I have this question, Steve.
Okay, thank you, Rebecca.
You're quite welcome. Thank you very much.
Next, I'll call on Jennifer Hip to discuss the Middlesex Township Municipal Authority County Access Agreement. Jen?
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. How are you? We've been asked by the Municipal Township Authority to enter into an access agreement. The issue the authority is facing is it's having some turbidity and nitrogen issues with its well. And the well is located on property that is adjacent to property owned by the county. And absent the authority being able to resolve these issues with its well, it's at risk of losing the ability to continue to operate the well. So the purpose of the proposed agreement is to allow Middlesex Township Authority representatives access to adjoining properties for the purposes of taking soil samples. The authority provided the county with a proposed access agreement. I took a look at it and I have no problems with the agreement. Just a few things I'd like to bring to the Commissioner's attention. I believe that the dates for the time period that the access agreement will cover will need to be updated. Those dates are referenced in paragraph 2. And if the Commissioners are inclined to proceed with the agreement, I think that's an easy remedy. Paragraph 4 also specifies that if as a result of taking the soil samples, it's determined that some additional work needs to be done at the site and on property that may affect the county's property, that both the county and the authority would enter into a separate easement agreement at that point in time. I also like to highlight paragraph 5, which I thought was extremely important to have. The authority will be agreeing to hold harmless and indemnify the county for any problems that could arise as a result of this access agreement. And finally, in paragraph 6, the authority would agree and represent that the county shall not be liable or responsible for any costs of any kind associated with the authority's access to an investigation in the easement area as a result of this agreement. Please let me know if the Commissioners have any questions concerning this matter.
I do not.
Looks good. I'm fine.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Nice seeing you folks.
You too.
Next, I'll call on Commissioner Eichelberger to present the GFOA Distinguished Budget Award. Commissioner Eichelberger?
Okay, in our packets, we have a copy of the press release to take care of this as well in terms of reaching out to our public. We're very fortunate, once again this year, to have been awarded the GFOA Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. I should have this memorized by now because we get this. This is the 13th consecutive year, so hats off to our finance team. We've been, this is a national recognition, and it's granted for meeting the best practice standards in public budgeting. I should point out that this is issued by the Government Finance Officers Association, GFOA, a common term for those of us who've been around government for a while. And it recognizes through this award that state and local governments are those that are preparing budget documents that adhere to the best practices on budgeting and following guidelines from the National Advisory Council on State and Local Budgeting. The budget document that we pass and that receives about this much attention in the newspaper is actually a huge undertaking, and it's an ongoing project through the year. To call it a project is understating it, to say the least. So, but it's evaluated, and again, for the 13th year, we're receiving this award, the finance team, for its work. And it's worth noting that the criteria that are used for awarding this are stringent. And what is measured is the budget document's effectiveness as a financial plan, obviously, also as a policy document of what the government entity is doing, as a guide to government operations, and as a means of communicating information to the public. So we're very pleased, obviously, to get this. Our finance team deserves an enormous amount of recognition. We're sorry you couldn't be here today to receive this in person, but we wanted you to know how proud we are of the team. The award is a testament to the employees who work on the budget throughout the year. And I just wanted to make underscore a certain point, that is, the good financial management is the very root of our success or our failure as a county government. This is really a cornerstone to what we do day in and day out. And if we serve the public, this is something we have to get right. And this recognition is an acknowledgement that we've gotten it very right, that our team that's up there on the screen has gone above and beyond what is expected in terms of simply managing the county government. We've achieved excellence, and we applaud you for that. To do that, to accomplish that for 13 consecutive years is no small deal, and it's certainly worthy of the praise any praise that you get here. And hopefully, we hope the local media will pick it up, not just because it makes us look good, but because it's a deserved acknowledgement of the hard work that you folks have put in. This team has always been at the top of the game on an ongoing basis, and we're very proud of that. But I think it's worth noting too that they have been such an essential part of our role in operations during COVID-19, and we know the extra effort that's been put in and been required of you, and we really thank you for that you've gone the extra mile and helped us meet challenges that none of us really expected. But your folks, Dana and Tammy, have really taken it, not necessarily in stride, but you've really risen to the occasion here when we needed you most. So we think the thanks that you deserve goes well beyond just this little medallion, but we're very proud to have this medallion, and we're going to display it very proudly up on this board of the award itself that has each year listed in which we achieve this. And we're running out of room up there, but that doesn't mean, that we aren't, but we'll just get another award. Don't let the budget go just because we don't have room for the award. So we'll figure something out, but we're very proud of this, and we're looking forward to having you guys in here, and maybe we'll get a couple of pictures of one of you guys posting the 2020 badge up on our award on the walls for proud display for everybody to see. So with that, I think we'll just close it out, and if my colleagues would like to add anything, they're certainly welcome to, but as usual, I've kind of covered the word for it. Anybody?
I would just add that, last year when I was campaigning, I was very impressed with the budget document. And it really was one of those things that I used to learn about what was going on at the county. And if the public, hasn't delved into it, it really is the equivalent of an annual statement for a publicly traded company. That's how I think about it. It tells you not only the nuts and bolts of the numbers, it also tells you, what is management worried about? What are we thinking about? What do we have contingencies? What are we, what really keeps us up at night? So I am also very appreciative that the finance department is indeed the department at the county that really is protecting the people who live in Cumberland County. Because without your good work and your excellent budgeting, we would not be in the position that we are, where if we have a failure in federal or state funding, the county has a reserve that can take care of our human services. And I think that I don't want that to be skipped over as part of this award. I think that's really important for people to know.
Just a big thank you from me, Dana and crew. Thank you.
Very good, gang. Thanks again. Like I said, we'll have you in to do the honors of posting this then. Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you. Next I'll call in Valerie Copenhaver to discuss the 2 letters of support regarding Walnut Bottom Road safety improvements. Valerie?
Good morning, Commissioners, and congratulations, Finance team. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss the Woodmark project with you and for your consideration for support. On behalf of Woodmark, KDIC submitted through Cumberland County Industrial Development Authority 2 MCF, 1 to DCED and 1 to PennDOT, for $459,000 for a safety improvement project to remove a dangerous vertical curve along Walnut Bottom Road, just east of the intersection of Allen Road and Walnut Bottom Road. The project will improve just under a quarter mile of Walnut Bottom Road, lowering the road about 7.5 feet, which will allow for proper sight distance for access and travel safely along Walnut Bottom Road. The road improvements will occur in conjunction with the construction of the Woodmark project. And the new Woodmark project encompasses about 25 acres of a planned commercial industrial center of 5 20,000 square flex space buildings, which are going to be used for equipment, rental, and sales, and for companies to support current businesses and warehouses such as Amazon. And this development is right in front of Amazon on Walnut Bottom Road. It will also have 6 mini storage facilities, which may change if they find that there's more demand for the flex space. Upon completion, the development, which is going to cost almost $12 million, will create 250 new family-sustaining jobs with an average starting salary of $13 an hour. And the construction project will create about 110 jobs. And I think that's where I'll stop. You have the executive summary, which has a little bit more detail. Do you have any questions?
Valerie, action's good for Monday. You don't need action today.
Is it okay if the board takes action?
Monday is fine.
Monday, okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Commissioners?
No.
Okay, thank you very much for the explanation.
Okay. Thank you. It's good to see you all. I haven't seen you for like a year, I think. Hi.
Agenda item number 7 is contracts and grants, with agenda item 7, Roman numeral 1, A through C, consisting of existing contracts, contract extensions, or addenda with no additional cost or increase to the county for aging and community services, children and youth services, planning. Commissioners, do you have any questions regarding any of the contracts or agreements for the departments mentioned? Okay, so hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item 7, Roman numeral 2, which consists of new contracts, vendor services, grants, and contracts with increases or decreases to the county. And I'll start by calling in Christine Bowden to discuss the Aging and Community Services Grant. Christine?
Good morning. The Title 19 grant is our normal Medicare grant, which is how from the state, which is how we receive our funding for our information and research referral, the problem for consumers, and how we fund our ADRC program. This is a grant that comes up every 3 or 4 years. We can do with that information.
Any questions for Christine?
No.
Okay, thank you so much, Christine.
Thank you.
Next I'll call in Robin Weigel to discuss the contract for the assessment office. Robin?
Good morning, Commissioners. This is our annual EST camera maintenance and support contract. This allows us to maintain our camera system for all of our property evaluations, etc. Last year we added the software so that we would continue to have current software. Other than that, nothing has changed.
Any questions for Robin? Thank you so much, Robin.
Thank you.
I'll call on Jamie Ryber to discuss the 7 contracts for children and youth. Jamie?
Morning, Commissioners. The first contract that is on is an addendum to Families United Network. We are adding a service to them. It is for drug testing. We are going to use this program as a incentive to our parents that are currently drug testing, who have proven that they are committed to drug testing, and also because this program will go to them versus them needing to come to the courthouse to be tested. So this is kind of as a reward and an incentive to them to keep from having financial hardships, transportation issues, things like that. So this won't be used frequently, but it will be used, like I said, as a reward. The second contract, excuse me, is for Speak Right. This is a brand new contract for us. This was presented at one of the PCYA meetings recently. This group allows our workers to be able to speak into their phone through an app and basically dictate their notes. And then this program will type them up and send them to us so that we can put them into our dictations. We had 2 workers that were present at this meeting, and they are very excited about the possibilities of this and for it allowing our workers to remain, not have backlog with their dictation, because as you know, most of the time they're out in the field doing the work and then they have to do all of their notes later. So this would give them the ability to save time and keep everything up to date. They are allowing us to have a 2-week trial period before we go fully into this, so we will be trying it with some other workers. And if we do feel that it is something worthwhile, we are going to move forward with that. The second is for Bethany Christian Services for Central PA. This is just our annual contract with them. They are requesting 5 increases across the board with their 5 levels of foster care. They were a new provider with us last year, and they actually have one of the lowest per diem levels for their foster care programs. They are working on increasing their resource home retention and education. They've implemented evidence-based models for resource home retention. They developed a therapeutic respite program to help prevent burnout, stress, and ultimately placement disruptions of their resource homes. And they've increased trainings for their resource homes in trauma. The next contract is for Genesis Home of New Beginnings. They are a brand new contract with us, and we are doing this for a specific child that was a very hard to place child. We have done searches actually throughout the country for this child to find a placement, and we actually were able to find this one kind of in our own backyard. They are a group home. They have a small group of 6 females at a time. They range in ages from 10 to 18. They provide life skills and independent living services, and they also provide ongoing family support up to a year after the child is discharged. We are also including in this contract a one-on-one supervision rate because of the difficulties of this child and transitioning from a residential treatment facility to this group home. So we're going to try very hard not to disrupt this placement, and if this is a success for her. 31% increase for their drug and alcohol program, and 6.8% for their shelter program. We do not use this program very heavily. This is a very specific population that we put there. We maybe have 1 to 2 youths a year that are in this program. However, they are working on becoming compliant with the Families First Act and will be able to provide specialized setting services once they get through all of their training and setting that up. They have had minimal increases in contracting with them in 2016, no more than 3% in their programs throughout that time. There is also funding that will go towards the cost of the care while the children are there for the treatment portion of their program. We have George Junior Republic as the next one. They are requesting 5% increases across the board. They offer drug and alcohol, residential, special needs, crisis intervention, and shelter services. They also are working on becoming accredited under the Families First Act, and they will be licensed as a special residential facility that will serve youth that are or are at risk of becoming sex trafficking victims. They continue to increase their staff knowledge in the area of suicide prevention and trauma, as well as traumatic brain injuries. They provide transportation for their clients across the state, and they have recently opened an on-campus wellness center that provides both behavioral and physical health services for their clients. The rates are also well below the approved maximum and are comparable to other providers that provide the same service. And the last one I have is Valley View House. We've contracted with them in the past, but this is a new contract at this point. They are going to be providing, they have 2 shelter programs that we can utilize, which is something we are always in desperate need of. And they also have independent living services, also something that we're very excited about and need for that population of our clients. Their rates are also very comparable to like programs. Any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you very much, Jamie.
Thank you.
Next, Ben Boyer is with us to discuss the addendum for Claremont Nursing and Rehabilitation Center. And Ben, if you would, once you've discussed the addendum, if you'd also please discuss agenda item number 10, which is a motion to reaffirm a contract that was previously signed. And commissioners, I would note that is a action requested item. Ben?
Good morning. First is the United Healthcare Insurance Company addendum. This is simply just an addendum to one of the appendixes with that contract, the Medicaid payment appendix. It is just actually an update to wording. There is no actual rate change of what United Healthcare would pay us. Any questions from the council?
I take it Keith has seen the amendment.
I'm sorry, I apologize. What was that question again?
Well, there's a mention of an amendment to a contract or agreement here. It's not attached. I'm assuming you've seen it.
If the cover page indicates that, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
And then, board item 10, as she said, that is the Aegis Science Corporations. They are a lab that we are contracting with for the COVID testing. This came about as Quest actually ended our contract effective December 1st, 2020. They ended, Quest decided to end the contract with us, so we needed a new lab to contract for the COVID test. Any questions with that?
I know.
Since.
Is action, yes, action requested item.
Okay, I'm entertaining a motion on request.
I'll make a motion to reaffirm approval of Aegis Sciences Corporation for Claremont Nursing and Rehab Center.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. I'll call next on Lori Glaze to discuss the Conservation District Grant. Lori?
Hey, good morning, Commissioners. We, every year, we present and funding in marathon. We're hoping to make 9 people participate and an average of 116 students. With COVID last year, we had very little participation because with the virtual platform. This year, we're supposed to be going to virtual platform, but we weren't getting a chance to have a grant from the state marathon to support our local and state efforts. And what we were supposed to do was enhance some of the kits that we previously have, our wildlife station, our aquatic station, and our poultry station. So this grant is being providing additional resources for the students and teachers within our high school. Are there any questions?
Lori, it was for some, the technical world really kind of jumbled a lot of that, but how many students did you say this serves?
Sorry about that. I have low bandwidth. So I'm going to turn off my video. Can you guys hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Locally, we have about 115 students participate. We do reach probably around 150. Every time we have our event, there's always students that can't make it because of sporting events, other academic activities towards the end of the year. So on average, we have about 115 students from all 9 public high schools participate when we do have our in-person events.
Thank you.
So the applied would be reaching all the students that would be in environmental clubs, environmental science classes, and they're available on request.
Any questions for Lori?
One more, Lori, sorry. So does the Conservation District put out a notice to all of our school districts, to all of our high schools?
Yes, so I give the notice to all of our environmental advisors, and they can request either presentations from myself or from our partnering agencies. So we partner with Fish and Boat, DCNR, Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, Natural Resource Conservation Service, and the PA Game Commission. So we have a really great network of partners who are very interested in the environment.
Thank you.
Any other
Thank
questions
you.
for Lori? Okay, thank you so much, Lori. Eric
Thank
Brandovich.
you.
Thanks. Eric Brandovich is also with us to discuss the district attorney's CID contract. Eric?
Morning, Commissioners. The contract before you is for the Hilton's locksmith service for $16,105. It's for a comprehensive audio and video recording system for an interview room in our criminal investigations division for recording both suspect recorded information and victim information during interviews.
Any questions for Eric?
Just one, Stacy, why isn't the amount listed on the form? It's blank. I think I heard 16,000.
$16,105.
Thank you, Eric.
Yep, we'll look into why that wasn't added to the contract approval process form. We'll get that updated before Monday.
Thank you.
Next, I'm going to call on Michelle Seibert to discuss the VOCA 2020 to 2023 grant. And Michelle, if you would also discuss agenda item 13, which is a motion to reaffirm approval of the STOP grant. And commissioners, please note that agenda item number 13 is also action requested. Michelle?
Yes, VOCA, commissioners already approved us to apply. We were awarded almost $700,000 through the end of September 2023. We just need to accept the money. It funds a number of advocates, admin staff, and a small portion of me. That action can wait until Monday. The one that I need action for today is the VOCA is our Victims of Crime grant. STOP is Stop Violence Against Women. The STOP grant helps support the county in paying for half of an assistant DA and a portion of a detective. The other part of STOP is a pass-through to our rape crisis and domestic violence services. With regard, all the COVID issues, STOP grant is allowing us to extend this grant into 2021 for the first quarter. The district attorney's office, the Commonwealth does not need it extended, but rape crisis, or one of the pass-through agreements, needs to be extended. I'm sorry for the late deadline. We sent the paperwork back, and then they alerted us that I needed the entire team to approve the extension. So there's no change. It's just extending it so rape crisis can utilize the remainder of the fund.
Any questions from Michelle?
So we're jumping down to that, we want action on that now.
Yes.
So, okay, so
Please.
item 13, as presented by Michelle, does someone wish to make a motion?
I'll move to reaffirm the approval of the Stop Violence Against Women grant modification as requested.
Second.
It's moved and seconded, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, next I'll call on Ryan Simon to discuss the JFT Recovery and Veteran Support Services. Ryan?
Good morning, Commissioners. The Cumberland Area Drug and Alcohol Commission has received funding from the Pennsylvania Department of Drug and Alcohol Programs. And this funding is specifically to contract with JFT. JFT will be facilitating a law enforcement diversion program, and they'll be working with local police departments here in Cumberland County to assist them in dealing with individuals that they come across in their work, trying to get people into treatment instead of sending them to jail. Are there any questions?
I don't have any questions. I just am so pleased that this money came in, that this grant money came in, and that we're going to be doing this program. And I really, really hope that we're going to put some publicity into it and to make sure that the people that live in Cumberland and Perry counties know that we're doing this good work.
I believe JFT will be doing some contacting the media and stuff to let them know that they're working with police departments, yes.
Good, good.
Any other questions or comments for Ryan? Thank you, Ryan. Mark Adams is available to discuss 2 agreements for IFTO, and Commissioners, please note these items are action requested today. Mark?
Good morning, Commissioners. Yes, as Stacy mentioned, there are 2 agreements that I'm seeking action for today, only because they are directly impacting or being impacted by CARES funding. So we're just trying to get that approved for the CARES reimbursement. The first one is, I'm going to reverse the order for you. The first one is going to be the volume licensing through Microsoft. We've been approved for over $400,000 for CARES funding for this. The project is coming in as a 3-year project that Microsoft is asking us to sign a enterprise agreement with them. As we know, 365 is a subscription service, so it's something that we knew we were going to do. Microsoft's just asking us to lock into a 3-year deal. And this is also purchased underneath the CCAP enterprise agreement. This is in tandem with CCAP's agreement for pricing. The total cost of the 3-year contract is $1,237.50. We'll be paying that annually, though, the first year covered by CARES funding for $333,000. The second contract I have is this through CDW, as they have the contract with CCAP. So we're also utilizing CDW for implementation services, just because of the vast nature of the complexity of the Microsoft 365 with not only Office implementation, but also security in mind. We want to make
separately.
Yes.
Okay, so on the first item, do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the contract request for CDW Government for MS 365 implementation services for the amount of $14,245 as presented.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We need a second motion then.
So we're doing this,
Separate, this is my two.
okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move to approve the Microsoft Enterprise Agreement Volume Licensing MS 365 in the amount of $1,237,000.50.
That's not 237,000.
I'm sorry, $237.50. Thank you.
That's a little different.
Second.
How much is $200,000 then?
Okay, it's moved and seconded, all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next one.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Next, I'll call on Annie Strike to discuss the mental health fiscal year 2020-2021 contract, as well as the intellectual and developmental disabilities fiscal year 2020 to 2021 contracts. Annie?
Good morning, all. I have 4 agreements to discuss with you. The first being Susquehanna Software, which is our software package that we use to give our data back to the state. It's also software we use for billing processes in other parts of our organization. So, excuse me. The software maintenance agreement is for, the addendum is for $6,800, $6,800, and it brings the contract total to $29,200. I'll just stop and ask if there's any questions related to that. Okay. All right, the next 3 agreements are all related to residential programs. The first 2 are HAP, Human Achievement Program, which is one of our ID programs. And it's actually for renovations to the house where individuals with intellectual disabilities live. So it's the contract is for $44,400, and it's being paid for with retained earnings from actually fiscal year 1920. So parts of that are smoke detectors and new porch roof, new garage roof, so those kinds of things. $44,400 is the total there. The next agreement is for Keystone Service Systems. Again, this is one of our ID programs, and it's being paid for again with prior year, fiscal year 1920 funds, and for residential renovations, an accessible kitchen and some upgrades to the bathroom facilities there, as well as a vehicle. So the total of that contract is $102,058. And then the third agreement is an addendum to an existing contract. It's an increase of $65,882, which is going to bring the contract total to $470,584. And they provide a variety of services for us, but the amendment is specifically to pay for residential renovations. So they want to work on a hookup to community water, to the borough water supply, and then to also purchase a vehicle for that program. Do you have any questions?
Okay, thank you so much, Annie.
Thank you.
Claudia Garner is next to discuss the grant for public safety. Claudia?
Good morning. In January, Public Safety asked for your permission to apply for the Hazardous Material Response Fund, known as the HMRF grant with PEMA. Fast forward 12 months, and we're happy to report that we've been awarded the grant and now asking for your approval to accept the federal fiscal year 2021 HMRF grant agreement in the amount of $40,990. This is an increase of $1,328 from last year's grant award, and it is 100% state funding. The amount of the award for each county is based on the amount of funds available through the HMRF program at PEMA. It has a performance period of July 1 of 20 through June 30 of 21, and a funding work plan consisting of equipment and training that will support the hazardous materials emergency response operations, which align with Act 165 and also submitted in our county budget. Specifically, there is $10,000 of this grant that is allocated toward the purchase of the new hazmat emergency response vehicle that is on order. So again, we're asking for your approval of the grant award in $40,990, and assuming that you make a motion to approve on Monday, if you could just stop by the website and electronically sign your signatures to the agreement, that'd be great. You have any questions?
Okay, thank you so much, Claudia.
Have a good day, everybody.
Next, I'm calling Kelly Niederer to discuss the retirement board agreement with Marquette Associates. Kelly?
Hello, everyone. I am here on behalf of the retirement board to share with you the amendment to the investment management agreement that we currently have in place with Marquette Associates, seeking to modify that arrangement to from a traditional consulting 321 arrangement to that of an outsourced CIO, which is Chief Investment Officer consulting arrangement under the 338 patents. This agreement will allow the firm to execute more discretion in relation to managing the retirement account. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to try and answer them. This was reviewed by the solicitor, and I believe it was found it to be satisfactory.
Any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you so much, Kelly. Next, I'll call on Wes Graham to discuss the MOU between Cumberland County and DCED for staff. Wes?
Morning.
Good morning.
This is an agreement with the tax equalization board for underfunding of the
Wes, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I know that you've got Kathy there with you, probably for the next agenda item. But if you don't mind maybe asking her to step out so that you can take your mask off. I don't think your microphone is picking up as well with the mask.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. The agreement with the Tax Equalization Board has been in the works for years. The Tax Equalization Board is a department, a state department that's underfunded as it is. And to get this information, the counties will be able to drill down to the neighborhood level. As of now, they just, the Tax Equalization Board just does the county level. And then we'll also be able to separate classifications for our own use. So the $1,400 that we won't receive from the Tax Equalization Board or DCED, just, you know, what the information that we'll receive and what we'll be able to do with it outweighs that many times over. So I would hope that the commissioners would agree to forego $1,400 a year for the next 10 years.
Any questions for Wes?
No.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's what
Yeah. We've seen you with your mask on a lot, Wes. So it's nice to see you without your mask. We now know what you look like behind that mask.
There you go. I'll bring Candy over now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so next I will call on Kathy Waters, and we do have Wes available on reserve there if we need him, to discuss the assessment board rules and regulations. Kathy?
The board asked me to overlook the rules and regulations that were done in 2014. They also asked Sean Schultz to go over them with me. We made some changes and was set
that was sent to you. We have both copies. We have a copy that has the old information and a copy that has the new information. What we were asking is the board approves these new rules and regulations so that we can put them into place January 1st.
Any questions for Kathy? And, okay, all right, thank you. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Yeah. I was just getting ready to say, we do have Sean Schultz here in case you have any questions. Nobody had any questions, but we thank him for joining us, nevertheless.
That's an hour of build time, right?
It's good to see you all. Have a good morning.
You too.
Thanks, Sean.
So we've already discussed agenda item 10, so we'll move on to agenda item number 11, which is to reaffirm the award of Renew Cumberland grant funds for new projects that were approved by the county review team, and also to execute the grant contracts when applicable for all new subrecipients. You've been provided with a summary of the awards. If you have any questions about any of the projects, Ron Snow and I are happy to answer them. Commissioners, do you have any questions? And also, please note this is an action requested item.
I have no questions.
Okay.
So we're looking for a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to reaffirm the award of Renew Cumberland grant funds and execution of grant contracts when applicable for all new subrecipients.
I second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. So agenda item number 12 is to authorize Renew Cumberland grants and execute grant contracts for all subrecipients awarded in excess of $100,000. You previously approved the awards, and you have been provided with a detailed summary of those awards. Again, if you have any questions, Ron and I are happy to answer them. And then also, please note this is action requested today.
Any questions? All right, so do we have a motion for approval, for a motion?
I'll move to authorize Renew Cumberland grants and execute grant contracts for all subrecipients in excess of $100,000.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you.
All right, so we have already covered agenda item 13, so we'll move on to agenda item 14, which is discussion of 2 capital project requests, and we'll start with Greg Miller, who is available on Zoom to discuss the capital project request for adult probation. Greg?
Good morning, Commissioners. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. To go back to what Commissioner Eichelberger said at the beginning about COVID, obviously that's affected us all. It has forced the adult probation basically to move the majority of everything we do onto the streets. Because of that, that's why we're requesting another vehicle on our behalf. Basically, I don't have enough vehicles to cover my officers, and we're constantly moving things around. With that being said, I have currently moved 2 vehicles over to the West Shore for better time management, so my officers can work better over there. And I have 6 officers in that arena, if you will, that have the availability of 2 cars, which leaves me 19 other officers for the other 5 cars that I have. And unfortunately, due to COVID and the higher incidence of mental health incidents and opioid arrests that we're making, I was able to move back our arrest car back here to the courthouse area. And this was after talking to Sandy and Commissioner DiFilippo earlier in the year of how we could do that. I was able to secure that spot through the Borough of Carlisle. That being said, that is taking out one of our cars on a regular daily basis because we need to do that as an arrest car here closer to our office. Also, just to let you know, due to COVID, more time on the streets causes us to do all of our assessments, our interviews, everything else that we would have normally done inside our buildings, and now we have to go out the streets. And we have a number of different facilities that we're able to do that in, but we have to go out on the streets to do it. With that, and statistically, I wanted to let you know that from June the 15th up through, I guess December the 5th, I tallied about that we've done 3,562 field contacts. So 3,500 field contacts we've actually conducted on the streets just with our officers, which is an unbelievable number. But that's what we have to do. So, and I've also had one of my cars out of service, back, we're just getting that back on board. That was a 2008 Impala that's about 12 years old, and just had $1,000 put into it, and steering columns and a couple other things going on. So it's going to start to make one payments anyhow. So anyhow, the ballpark reason for this is that I just need more tools to help my officers get the jobs done. That's what I have for right now.
Any questions for Greg?
Greg, so there are limitations in the office that adult probation uses that doesn't allow for social distancing?
This is for our offenders. We're not allowing any of our offenders in our office at all. We just, our concerns, I have 5 officers right out now with COVID issues.
Okay.
And we're very cognizant of what's going on. And with the courts and the people coming over from our courts and who we deal with, we just can't take a chance. So we're doing probably 98% of our business in the streets.
Okay, all right, thank you for the clarification.
Yes, and one other thing, if I can follow up, just in the backup of Brian with JFT, if you would like any information more about that program, we use that heavily for counseling with our offenders over the JFT program in Des Moines, and we have all kinds of brochures. If anyone would like anything, we're happy to share that with you also.
Yeah, I was in contact with Jack when he first asked for that grant money, for that program. I really think that program will be wonderfully helpful. And I know it's not even a year, it's 10 months. But I really am hoping that we can continue that after the 10 months. I think it will be incredibly helpful. And I think it would be good for people in Cumberland and Perry counties to know that this is a county offered service, and that the work was done to go get money to provide it. And then to partner with JFT. I think all these things are good things to get out there.
Right. Yeah, we're having great success with it so far with our counselors. It's
Good.
really beautiful people. Yeah.
Good, thank you.
Thank you for your time. Yes.
Thank you. Next, we have Kirk Stoner, who's going to discuss the capital project request for Kunkel Bridge. Kirk?
Stacy, Kirk chatted with me. He said he had to leave the meeting because he had a state ag board meeting at 10 and he needed to talk to the staff. But he did say, I can answer any questions for Monday. The Kunkel Bridge Capital Forum proposes a $600K increase in the project, cost from $2.3 million to $2.9 million. The increase provides additional room for anticipated costs. The project has been very challenging to date due to variable geological conditions that have required additional micropile installation, deeper drilling, substantial grouting, and impact monitoring on the adjacent property. The additional cost for the project can be covered through the bridge CIP. I am exploring the potential to have some of the costs covered by the federal funds, and that's all you had.
All right, and thank you so much, Teresa. I think we've all attempted to read the chat messages on Zoom. And so kudos to you for doing such a good job with the very technical language that you just had to relay to us. Okay, so we'll move on then. So if you have any questions, we can certainly get those answers from Kirk. And we'll move on to agenda item 15. And Commissioner Eichelberger, I'll call on you to discuss the reappointment recommendation to the Blight Property Reinvestment Board.
Okay, we have a vacancy there at the Blight Board. Of course, the Blight Board's going to be accepting considerably more responsibility here now with some of the changes that were made last year in terms of the funding stream that's available to them. And Lou Hunter's been appointee from the Housing and Redevelopment Authority Board. He's been with them for quite some time. I believe his CV is attached. So I don't know if there's any question regarding that, but I think the group's feeling is that some continuity right now, and his experience would be a valuable choice to make for the board's continued success, so.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we'll be looking at that for Monday, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all.
Thank you. And next I'll call on Commissioner Fauci, discuss the reappointment recommendations, I guess in general, all recommendations to the local emergency planning committee.
All right, so the local emergency planning committee has some changes happening to its board. And the first are reappointment recommendations. And those recommendations are for Nathan Wardle, who is our print media representative. I think we know Nathan really well. He is a Penn Township native and is with PIMA at this point in time, I believe. But I hope I didn't say that. I hope I haven't misspoken, but we know Nathan very well. Robert Shively Jr., our own Robert Shively Jr., is the emergency management representative. Taylor Griffiths is the emergency services representative and is an excellent contributor to the LEPC. And then John Blind, who is the Eastern Area representative. And then there will be a reappointment recommendation for me as the commissioner liaison. And my approval will have to go through approval and formal reappointment by PIMA. There's a resignation on the board, and then there are 3 people who will be leaving the board. So we'll be acting on all of those things on Monday.
Thank you very much. And next, I'm going to call on Jack Carroll to discuss the reappointment recommendation to the Drug and Alcohol Commission Community Advisory Board. Jack?
Morning, Commissioners. One of the members of one of the Cumberland County representatives on our Community Advisory Board is Margaret Nash, or we know her better as Peg. Peg has just come to the end of a 3-year term on the board. The guidelines for our volunteer Community Advisory Board allow people to serve 2 consecutive 3-year terms if they would be interested in doing so. And Peg is very much interested in continuing to serve on the board. She's been a terrific board representative, very reliable at attending and participating in meetings. So our recommendation is to reappoint her for a second 3-year term. Any questions or?
Nope, we're good. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
If I may, I also wanted to comment, Commissioner Fauci, you would thank you for your support of the additional funding we've gotten for JFT to expand their warm handoff efforts to also work with our local municipal police departments. We are anxious to publicize that as well. We just need a little bit of time to process the contract. JFT needs a little bit of time to hire some additional certified recovery specialists to be able to carry out that work and to communicate with our police partners. So we want to get all those ducks in a row before we are publicizing the program to the general public. So that's where we are with that. Any questions or comments about that?
No, thank you, Jack. I appreciate your attention to that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Agenda item number 18 is Commissioner's Liaison Reports, and I'll start by calling on Commissioner Eichenberger.
Yeah, I don't have much. Just 1 or 2 items from Katie. The executive committee meeting was canceled for this month due to corruption of other business and some issues for staff as well. We are continuing to work with Housing and Redevelopment Authority to review the existing memorandum of understanding that exists between planning, Katie, and housing and redevelopment. So we're trying to get a meeting together on that, but it's that time of year too where it's become more difficult. And of course, Mary's new, so she's her time demands are pretty significant right now. So, but as I have more on that, I'll report. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Eichenberger. Commissioner Fauci.
I don't have much either. In terms of the Western COG There was a pipeline meeting, a public pipeline meeting that was a virtual public pipeline meeting that I attended, as well as I know that there were members of the Western COG in virtual attendance. That meeting is actually online for people to view, and I was on Cumberland the other day, and right there it is, sitting right there. You can click on it and watch it. So that might be something that people want to go and take a look at. And the other piece that I have is I went to my first Stop Violence Against Women Task Force meeting, and I wasn't there for very long, but I will tell you that, you know, the people that work for us in the county are not phoning it in. They're working so hard. And in this particular group, I was amazed by the amount of positive energy that they were putting into their work, and just their progressiveness, and they're willing to think about things differently and to move things forward. So I'm very interested in continuing to work with them. And that's all I have. Oh, and use the library. What a great place.
You hadn't mentioned that. I was a little bit concerned. You hadn't mentioned the library.
Especially, you know, Christmas break. It's a good time to go to tutor.com, service of the Cumberland County Library.
Also, if anybody has a resolution this past year to learn calculus.
Yes,
this would be a
calculus.
good time.
Learn calculus.
Finish up the resolution. Oh, thank you. Commissioner DiFilippo.
I have to mention something about calculus. My senior calculus teacher was probably the best teacher I've ever had in my life. But in order to get an A in his class, you had to get a 90.0 or above. In my last term with him, my average was 89.9. He said, Vince, I'm sorry. I said, well, you told me ahead of time with your, anyway, that has absolutely nothing to do with anything. So bitter. Okay,
That's so bitter. We've been carrying that around for a long time.
At least that B in calculus has not held you back, right? It
Correct.
has not held you back.
Yeah, that's 1975. That's a long grudge. Okay, I have two reports. Conservation District, we met on December the 8th. We have 14 new requests for erosion and sediment control plans that came in during the period October 22nd through December 1st. And there were 10 additional requests for ag ENS plans. For the cover crop program, the deadline to sign up is December the 15th. So far, we have 57 farms that have signed up, and that totals about 5,700 acres. We heard that the Sunoco pipeline construction should be completed in Cumberland County by mid-spring. And also want to report that our interim chief clerk, Stacy Snyder, has spent some time with our conservation district folks looking over some active projects. So I think it's pretty good to hear, Stacy. Thank you.
I got it on that day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're a good group.
They are.
Next is the Ag Board, which met yesterday. Couple quick items here. The state is reporting that funding for 2021 will not be greatly impacted. We're looking at probably $40 million statewide to go towards preservation. We have two members of the board whose terms expire at the end of this year. Kate McGraw, who is the citizen rep, and Mike Kleinpeter, who's the developer rep, both would like to stay on. The board did recommend that they continue, and that recommendation will be coming to us shortly for approval. There is a presentation given by Interjex Renewable Energy. What's going on in just to our west in Franklin County, there is a 1,000-acre solar project underway in Oregon Township. And these folks are going to need to connect to the power grid at Carlisle Pike substation just northeast of Shippensburg. It's going to require easements through a couple of preserved farms. And since the state regs do not segregate between private and public utilities, such an action will be permitted. However, the easement's going to have to be granted by those individual farmers. And if they're not granted, since it's a private utility, eminent domain will not come into play. So we'll see how that works out.
1,000 acres, did you say?
1,000 The next item quickly, there is a request from Central Valley Farms, which is owned by Keith Jones, which is in West Pennsboro Township, to put in an anaerobic digester for the production of energy. And how these work is they take manure and they generate and segregate different solids and so forth. And in the process, energy can be produced, and then the manure can be more finely ground up, so to speak, and used for the farm operation. Now, this location will also is very close to the Boyd Weary Dairy Farm, which is one of the biggest dairy farms in our county. And those two farms will benefit greatly from this digester. These are approved, they are allowed. The farm is a preserved farm. And there are 31 of these systems in Pennsylvania. We have, I think, 3 in Cumberland County. This would be the 3rd one. So the board approved that request. And that is it that I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
So politician talking manure is probably not the last one here today.
So Commissioner DeFilippo,
Yes.
so that is super cool.
Yeah.
Like, what a progressive renewable energy thing to be doing. Will that make it to Positively Pennsylvania, to the publication of the Farm Bureau?
Oh, it should.
I hope.
But and also, I know we're tight for time here, but the owner of Central Valley Farms, a fellow named Keith Jones, he said, anybody who would like to come out during this whole process of construction are welcome to do so. It's amazing how these things work and how they create energy, and then how things are funneled to a lagoon, and then it can be used to spread the fertilizer, on the farmland. Plus, these digesters really reduce the smell of the manure. So that's another good thing here. And of course, there's no county funding here. The farmers doing this on his own.
Yeah, it is really, that's so cool. I don't know what else to say about it. That is.
I think it had me at reduce the smell. I mean, it had me before that, but then I was really in. I was in. We've all driven through the country in Cumberland County, and the smell is the smell.
It's the question that was on everybody's mind the whole time we started.
It was.
We're going to talk about calculus.
I just wish I'd known that today was the day to come prepared to share.
Yeah.
Is there a calculus formula that was used in the production of the anaerobic digester?
There might have been.
Okay, well, moving on. I would like to report that executive sessions were held on November 30th, 2020 at 2:30 p.m. regarding personnel. December 3rd, 2020 at 9 a.m. regarding personnel and real estate. December 3rd at 12:45 p.m. regarding personnel. December 7th at 10:30 a.m. and 2 p.m. regarding real estate. December 8th, 2020 at 2 p.m. and December 9th, 2020 at 8:30 a.m. regarding personnel. Is there any other business that needs to come before the board today? Hearing none, we will adjourn.